What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mind Something. If you're new here, my name is Jake, and you may know that I am a huge Caspa bull, and I've been following this project for a very long time, and that's probably no surprise considering this is a mining channel. We've been mining this since roughly August of 2022, and I've got a considerable stake in it, so I pay attention. And today we got some very interesting news thanks to an interview from Sin City Crypto with the development team from Caspa, and they're going to give us some insight as to timeframes of what they would expect to see Caspa listing on a top 5 exchange. But before we get into the content, do me a favor, hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And without further delay, let's go ahead and take a listen to this recent interview.
On how long, should we or could we see Coinbase, Binance, let's just throw crypto.com in there, or Gemini listings? You think it's more likely than not that it happens in the next 1 year, the next 2 years? Do you have any gauge as far as that?
Sure. I would tend to think that we'll be on, talking about top 10 that we're not already on the coin market cap ranks of exchanges.
Yeah.
Will appear maybe even a top 5 on a top 5 by the end of the year. I would say that's a pretty safe bet. Yeah.
Okay.
If you look right now at the top 5, I would say one of them will probably at least one.
Okay.
So that was Wolfie, the lead business developer for the Caspa team. And I'm not sure he's aware, but Caspa is already on a top 5 exchange. So if we take a look at what is listed as the top exchanges according to CoinMarketCap, of course you've got Binance at number 1, Coinbase at number 2, OKX at number 3, Bybit at number 4, and Upbit at number 5. And if we take a look at the listings on CoinMarketCap for Caspa, what do we see here? We have Bybit listed at number 1, currently with a volume of about 4 million. Now, perhaps there's different ways to gauge what is a top 5 exchange, but if we're looking at what CoinMarketCap is saying here, it's a number 4 exchange. So congratulations, Caspa has already made it there. I think the big question now is, when are we going to see it listed on Binance, Coinbase, OKX, or perhaps Crypto.com? Those particular exchanges are probably going to bring in a large influx of new buyers, and with it perhaps a large price appreciation. Now, I don't know if I trust everything that CoinMarketCap puts on their website, because they do little tricky things now and again. For one, they didn't have Caspa's ranking right for a considerable amount of time. And if you take a look at this chart, the all-time chart here, it shows previously back on February 19th, that was the highest point for Caspa at 18.37 cents. In this recent run-up, they showed the peak was about 18.04 cents. However, if we take a look at TradingView, you can see, if I zoom in here, Caspa did actually hit a higher top back on around June 5th, which was roughly about 19.33 cents. And we are looking at the daily time frame here. Now, CoinMarketCap's time frame here is listed as all, so I don't know what each one of these little lines is going to represent. But even if we go to the 1 month and we take a look at our peak here, it does look a little better at 19.07 cents. And I went back to see what was the official listing date for Caspa on Bybit, and it's been on there since September 6th of 2023. So we're coming up on a year of being on a top 5 exchange. Now, jumping back over to TradingView on the 1-day time frame here, you can see that I've got my little scribbly lines on here. I'm no charting expert, but I can tell you that Caspa does have a tendency to put in many cup and handle formations, and we could potentially be in the middle of one right now. Now, there's a lot of excitement and anticipation around KRC20 and the release of Rust nodes being 100% deployed, and then we've got a few other things to get excited about. But I think really what's going to determine the direction of Caspa from where we're at right now in the short term is what happens to Ethereum and the spot ETF. But I would encourage you to pay attention. If you do see this cup and handle formation start to play out, and it looks like the spot ETF for Ethereum is going to go through, that could be a major catalyst for Caspa, especially with the release of Rust and KRC20. Now, most of you guys know this is mainly a GPU and CPU mining channel. I do cover ASICs periodically, and I personally don't have a Caspa ASIC. I collected a pretty large bag of Caspa, and my plan is to hodl that until the time comes. But there are lots of strategies out there. Take, for example, Greater Good Mining invested pretty heavily and was one of the first to initiate and get one of the Caspa ASICs when Ice River released theirs. But if you want to take the advice from a Caspa millionaire as to whether or not you should purchase Caspa as opposed to buying an ASIC, there's a pretty good interview from Tactical Investing, and he asked specifically that question, and I'll just let you take a listen.
For the people that are in the mining space or look at the mining space, and they would say, well, it would have been better just to buy Caspa than mine it, right? There's always this age-old argument as to, and I think a lot of times it's also due to what's everyone's approach to what they're doing with Caspa, right? So if someone was to look at you and ask you, Christian, is it better for me to buy, because you look at KS5L, $4,500, right? Should I go buy $4,500 worth of Caspa, or should I buy a KS5L? What if someone came to you with that question? What would you tell them?
At the moment, I would buy Caspa just because there's significant upside in the next 500, 600 days in terms of the asset itself.
Okay.
I think next bear market will be the last opportunity with Caspa to buy miners and have that be more fortuitous over the 5-year period lifespan of that miner versus making a market investment.
Now, one thing that I caught in that particular segment was he said it would be best to wait until the bear market of the following cycle in order to acquire Caspa ASICs. However, I don't know if I agree with that, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys are aware of the aggressive Caspa emission schedule, but we're currently at roughly the month 32, which means we're about 83% of the emissions through, and will be roughly 94% after this next year. And here you can see that at month 32, we are roughly at 103 Caspa per block in the emission schedule right now, and at the beginning of next month, we will be under 100. So the 4th year, we're going to be down to 51 Caspa per block. And it only gets worse from there. And if we're going to assume that Caspa is going to be able to survive just off of the MEV, that is a pretty risky bet to make, in my opinion. Also, if you are considering buying any ASIC right now at this point, I do want to caution you that usually around this time of year, we start to get announcements and new releases of ASICs that are going to be more efficient, making the existing hardware a bit less efficient and perhaps even completely unprofitable. We've got Mining Disrupt right around the corner, and from the time of recording, we've got about 4 days before that happens. We could potentially see some news coming out of that, or perhaps later on this summer. So I was going back through some old videos of Mining Disrupt from 2023 to figure out what they did release then, and I stumbled across this video from the Hobbyist Miner, and I thought this was kind of funny, and you guys might enjoy this. This is Keaton from Hivon.
With Keaton from Hivon. How's it going? Good. Awesome. Doing great. So guys, Tim and I were chatting a little bit about Caspa. So tell us a little bit about what Hivon has coming for the Caspa team.
Sure. So we have a Caspa pool launching very soon. Should be in the next couple days or maybe.
Awesome.
As we know, Caspa profitability on GPUs isn't
A little iffy, yeah.
hasn't been as great.
Yep.
Price action's been pretty good, so there's some hope maybe, but
And if you're curious what's up with that Caspa pool on Hivon, well, I got news for you. They still don't have it, but for some reason they added Graham. So that's it for today's episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. I'd like to hear from you down in the comments. When do you think we are going to see either a Coinbase, Crypto.com, or a Binance listing for Caspa? And what do you think is preventing them from listing it now? One last reminder before you get out of here, do me a favor, hit that like, and if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that, and I will see you on the next one.